Poor circulation increases your fall risk after 60. But here's what nobody's telling you. Stop what you are doing for just 5 seconds. Lift your toes slightly inside your shoes right now. Just a small lift. Hold it for a moment. Do your feet feel warm or do they feel cold? Maybe slightly numb. Most people over 60 have no idea how much the blood flow in their legs has quietly slowed down. Not because of one dramatic event, but because of a slow, silent process building inside their blood vessels for years, completely under the radar, until one day, things that used to be effortless feel hard. Walking through a grocery store feels more tiring than it should. Standing in line leaves your legs aching. Stairs that never bothered you take more effort. Your feet are always cold, even in warm rooms. And at night, cramps wake you up out of a deep sleep for no clear reason. Here is what nobody's telling you. There is one specific drink shown in clinical research to increase blood flow to your legs within just 2 to 3 hours of drinking it. Not days, not weeks, hours. And most people have walked past it in a grocery store dozens of times without ever connecting it to the heaviness in their legs or the cold in their feet. By the end of this video, you are going to understand exactly what is happening inside your blood vessels right now, why it happens, and the single most effective thing you can drink to start reversing it today. I am Dr. Megan Foster. I spent over 2 decades working with patients dealing with vascular problems, circulation decline, and the kind of gradual mobility loss most people accept as inevitable. And that acceptance, the idea that this is just aging and nothing can be done, is one of the most harmful beliefs I encountered in my entire career because it stops people from taking simple, accessible steps that can genuinely change how their legs feel, how far they can walk, and how independent they stay as they get older. Before we get into the ranking, I want to make sure you understand what is actually happening inside your body. Because once you understand the mechanism, the solution makes complete sense. Your blood vessels are not passive pipes. They are living tissue. They expand and contract. They respond to signals. And the molecule that controls most of that regulation, the molecule that tells your blood vessels to relax and stay open, is called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is produced by the thin layer of cells lining the inside of every blood vessel. When that lining is healthy, it releases nitric oxide continuously. That signal causes the surrounding vessel wall to relax. The vessel stays wide. Blood flows freely. Oxygen reaches your muscles. Your feet stay warm, your legs feel light. But after age 60, the body can produce up to 70% less nitric oxide than it did in younger years. And when nitric oxide drops, the blood vessels respond predictably. They tighten. They become less flexible. The openings narrow. Blood has to push harder to move through. Think of your blood vessels like garden hoses. When they are healthy, they are soft and wide. But when nitric oxide falls, those hoses slowly stiffen and narrow from the inside. The same amount of blood is being pushed through a tighter space, and the areas farthest from your heart, your feet and lower legs, get less of it than they need. That is why circulation decline almost always shows up there first. Cold feet, numb toes, heaviness in the calves, night cramps. These are not random symptoms. They are the predictable result of blood struggling to reach the extremities through narrowed, stiffened vessels. There is also something most people never connect to circulation: balance and fall risk. Your leg muscles need a steady supply of oxygenated blood, not just when you exercise, but all the time. When circulation is restricted, muscles fatigue faster, they weaken over time, and your balance suffers because your legs depend on constant sensory feedback to keep you stable. When blood flow is compromised, that feedback becomes unreliable. Falls become more likely. And that is one of the most serious downstream consequences of circulation decline that rarely gets talked about. Now let us talk about why nitric oxide declines so dramatically. There are 3 reasons, and understanding them is the key to understanding the solution. First, The cells lining your blood vessels become less efficient with age. They produce less of the enzyme responsible for making nitric oxide. This is gradual and begins in middle age. Second, oxidative stress increases as we get older. Think of oxidative stress as internal rust, unstable molecules accumulating in your body that damage cells and tissues. The blood vessel lining is especially vulnerable. When those cells are damaged, nitric oxide production falls further, and this creates a reinforcing cycle. Less nitric oxide leads to more vascular stiffness. More stiffness leads to more oxidative stress, and more oxidative stress leads to even less nitric oxide. Each one feeds the next. Third, and this is the one you can actually do something about, diet. The body needs specific raw materials to produce nitric oxide. The most important are compounds called dietary nitrates. These come almost entirely from food and drink. And the modern diet, particularly for many older adults, is dramatically low in them. You cannot fully reverse the natural age-related decline in cell efficiency, but you can dramatically increase the raw materials your body has available to produce nitric oxide. And when you do that consistently, the results are measurable. One long-term vascular study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology followed older adults with a circulation decline. When participants consistently consumed foods rich in dietary nitrates, blood flow to the legs improved by up to 45%. Walking endurance improved. Arterial stiffness dropped. Oxygen delivery to leg muscles increased significantly, not from medication, from restoring what the body had been missing. Here is something important to understand before we get into the list. And it explains why some drinks work dramatically faster than others. When you eat or drink something high in dietary nitrates, those nitrates are absorbed and travel to your salivary glands. Beneficial bacteria in your mouth convert them into a compound called nitrite. When you swallow and that nitrite reaches your stomach, the acidic environment converts it into nitric oxide, which enters your bloodstream and relaxes your blood vessels. This two-step process is why certain drinks produce results within hours while others take weeks. Drinks that deliver high concentrations of dietary nitrates in a form that moves through this pathway efficiently produce fast, noticeable effects. Drinks that work through slower, indirect mechanisms take much longer. It also explains something practical worth knowing right now. Antibacterial mouthwash used before drinking nitrate-rich beverages kills the bacteria in your mouth essential for that conversion process. If you use mouthwash every morning, consider switching to doing it at night instead. That one small change can meaningfully increase how much benefit you get from everything on the top of this list. Let us also briefly talk about arterial stiffness, because it comes up repeatedly in the research and affects how effective your circulation can be. Healthy arteries are naturally springy. With each heartbeat, they absorb the pressure wave and help keep blood moving smoothly between beats. When arteries stiffen, which accelerates with age, low nitric oxide, inflammation, and inactivity, they lose that springiness. Blood delivery becomes less efficient, especially to the legs and feet. Blood pressure rises. The heart works harder. The good news is that arterial stiffness responds to intervention. When nitric oxide levels are restored, arteries regain flexibility. Blood pressure often drops, and circulation to the extremities improves. Several of the drinks on this list work specifically on arterial stiffness, and that is a significant part of what makes them effective. Before we go into the list, a quick question for you. Have you noticed changes in your legs or feet recently? Cold feet no matter the temperature? Night cramps waking you up? Legs that feel heavier on walks than they used to? Drop a comment below right now and let me know. A lot of people watching this are dealing with the exact same thing, and it helps to know you are not alone in this. All right, 10 drinks, ranked from least to most effective for restoring leg circulation after 60. Drink number 10, water. Hydration matters. When you are dehydrated, blood becomes slightly thicker and does not circulate as efficiently. Staying well hydrated is genuinely important. But water provides none of the compounds your body needs to produce nitric oxide. It does not reduce arterial stiffness. It does not protect the blood vessel lining. It maintains the baseline, but builds nothing on top of it. One important nuance worth knowing: older adults have a reduced sense of thirst compared to younger people. The internal signal that tells you to drink water becomes less sensitive with age. That means many people over 60 are mildly dehydrated without ever feeling thirsty. And that low level dehydration is silently contributing to thicker blood and reduced circulation. Drinking water deliberately throughout the day, regardless of whether you feel thirsty, is a foundation worth building. Score 2 out of 10. Drink number 9, green tea. Green tea contains antioxidant compounds called catechins that protect the inner lining of blood vessels from oxidative damage over time. It also contains a combination of caffeine and an amino acid called L-theanine that produces a mild vasodilating effect, encouraging blood vessels to open slightly without the blood pressure spike that caffeine alone can cause. These are real benefits. The limitation is time. Most measurable circulation improvements from green tea show up after 8 to 12 weeks of consistent daily use. Green tea is a valuable long-term habit for cardiovascular health, just not a fast or powerful solution for leg circulation specifically. Score 3 out of 10. Drink number 8, tart cherry juice. Tart cherry juice contains compounds called anthocyanins, the pigments that give it that deep red color, which reduce inflammation in blood vessel walls and can improve arterial flexibility over time. The research on this is genuine. The problem is sugar. Most commercial tart cherry juices contain 25 to 35 grams of sugar per serving, and dietary sugar in large amounts directly impairs nitric oxide production. It promotes inflammation in blood vessel walls, which is the exact problem you are trying to reduce. The anti-inflammatory compounds and the sugar load work against each other. If you can find a pure, unsweetened tart cherry concentrate and dilute it yourself, the picture improves considerably. But as most people consume it off the shelf, the trade-off limits its effectiveness. Score 4 out of 10. Drink number 7, pomegranate juice. Pomegranate works through a mechanism different from most drinks on this list and uniquely valuable. It is rich in compounds that protect existing nitric oxide from being destroyed too quickly in the bloodstream. Nitric oxide is unstable. In an environment of oxidative stress, common in older adults, it breaks down faster than it should. Pomegranate's compounds extend its lifespan, meaning more of the nitric oxide your body is already producing actually survives long enough to reach your blood vessels and do its job. One study found that older adults consuming pomegranate juice daily for 4 weeks showed significant reductions in arterial stiffness and improved blood flow to the extremities. The downsides are cost and sugar. Look for 100% pure pomegranate juice and consume around 100 milliliters per day, enough to get the benefit without excessive sugar intake. Score 5 out of 10. Drink number 6, cocoa drink. Pure cocoa powder contains compounds called flavanols that directly activate the enzyme responsible for nitric oxide production inside blood vessel cells. Not by providing nitrate raw materials, by switching on the production process itself through a separate biological pathway. Studies show measurable increases in blood flow within 90 minutes to 2 hours of consuming cocoa flavanols. One large-scale clinical trial called the Cosmos Heart Study found that regular cocoa flavanol intake significantly reduced cardiovascular events in older adults, with improved blood vessel function as a key mechanism. The critical detail is preparation. Commercial hot chocolate mixes are high in sugar and low in actual flavanols because processing destroys them. Use raw, unsweetened cocoa powder or minimally processed cacao powder mixed in warm water or unsweetened plant milk. The bitterness is a reliable sign the active compounds are intact and working. Score 6 out of 10, or 6 out of gear. Now we move into the top tier. From here, every drink works through the direct nitrate to nitric oxide pathway, the fastest and most efficient mechanism available from food and drink. This is where people start noticing real physical changes in how their legs feel. Drink number 5, watermelon juice. Watermelon is one of the richest natural sources of an amino acid called L-citrulline. Your body converts citrulline into arginine, which is then used to produce nitric oxide. What makes citrulline so effective is that it bypasses a major limitation. When you consume arginine directly, whether from food or supplements, most of it gets broken down in your gut and liver before reaching your bloodstream. Citrulline travels freely through digestion, enters your bloodstream intact, and gets converted to arginine by the kidneys right where the body can use it most effectively. This is actually why athletes use citrulline supplements before training. It genuinely improves blood flow to working muscles. For older adults with circulation decline, the same mechanism applies. Watermelon also contains lycopene, a powerful antioxidant that reduces inflammation in blood vessel walls. Many people notice warmer feet and lighter feeling legs within hours of drinking it consistently. Keep portions moderate, around 250 milliliters of fresh watermelon juice, given the natural sugar content. Score 7 out of 10. Drink number 4, hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea has some of the most impressive vascular research behind it of any herbal beverage studied in older adults. It works through multiple mechanisms simultaneously. First, it naturally inhibits an enzyme called ACE, the same enzyme that many blood pressure medications target, allowing blood vessels to relax and stay dilated. This is a real pharmacologically meaningful effect confirmed in multiple clinical trials. Second, its flavonoids increase nitric oxide availability through both enhanced production and reduced breakdown. Third, studies show measurable reductions in arterial stiffness, how springy and flexible the arteries are, after 4 to 6 weeks of regular consumption. For leg circulation, the combination of lower blood pressure, improved vessel flexibility, and better endothelial function adds up to noticeably warmer feet and less leg fatigue. Steep 2 to 3 dried hibiscus flowers or 1 tea bag for 5 minutes. Drink it unsweetened. 2 cups per day is effective and practical. If you are on blood pressure medication, discuss this with your doctor first. The combination can lower pressure more than intended and may need monitoring. Score 8 out of 10. Drink number 3, celery juice. Celery is one of the richest vegetable sources of dietary nitrates available in any standard grocery store. A single glass of fresh celery juice, around 250 milliliters, delivers a meaningful nitrate dose that begins converting to nitric oxide quickly after consumption. Beyond its nitrate content, celery contains a compound called phthalides that directly relaxes the muscles surrounding blood vessel walls, an additional vasodilating effect on top of the nitrate pathway. And celery is rich in potassium, which helps counteract the blood vessel tightening effect of excess sodium in the diet. Most people consume far too little potassium and far too much sodium, and that imbalance quietly contributes to vascular stiffness. Fresh-pressed celery juice is significantly more effective than bottled versions. Nitrate content drops substantially during the processing and storage used in commercial products. If the taste is strong, blending it with cucumber makes it far more palatable while adding mild additional hydration and modest nitrates of its own. Score 8.5 out of 10. Drink number 2, arugula smoothie. Arugula is one of the most nitrate-dense vegetables on the planet. More concentrated than celery, more concentrated than spinach, more concentrated than most vegetables people eat in their regular diet. Even a small handful blended into a smoothie delivers a nitrate dose comparable to amounts used in clinical studies, demonstrating measurable circulation improvements. Beyond the nitrates, arugula contains flavonoids, particularly a compound called quercetin, that have well-documented anti-inflammatory effects on blood vessel walls. So arugula addresses both sides of the problem, providing raw materials for nitric oxide production and reducing the inflammation that impairs blood vessel function in the first place. People who add a consistent arugula smoothie to their mornings typically report warmer feet, less nighttime cramping, and lighter feeling legs within 2 to 3 weeks of regular use. To make it, blend 30 to 40 grams of fresh arugula with cucumber, a small green apple, a squeeze of lemon, and water. The apple and lemon dominate the flavor. The arugula essentially disappears while still delivering its full benefit. Score 9 out of 10. And now, number 1. Everything we have covered comes to the same conclusion. The most effective dietary drink for leg circulation is the one that delivers the highest concentration of bioavailable dietary nitrates in the most efficient form, with the most clinical research behind it, producing the fastest and most consistent results in older adults. That drink is beetroot juice. Drink number 1. Beetroot juice. Beetroot juice is not trendy. It is simply one of the most thoroughly researched natural vasodilators in the scientific literature, and it consistently outperforms every other dietary intervention studied for improving blood flow to the legs and feet. A single 250 milliliter glass of pure beetroot juice contains approximately 300 to 400 milligrams of dietary nitrate, the dose used in most clinical trials to produce measurable improvements in blood flow. That nitrate moves through the conversion process and produces a rapid, significant increase in circulating nitric oxide. Studies show blood flow to the legs can increase by 30 to 50% within 2 to 3 hours of a single glass. That is not a long-term cumulative effect building over months. That is an acute response happening the same day you drink it. With consistent daily use, the benefits compound. Studies conducted specifically in older adults, not athletes, not young people, but men and women over 60 with age-related circulation decline, show that after 4 weeks of daily beetroot juice consumption, arterial stiffness drops measurably, blood pressure decreases, walking endurance improves, and oxygen delivery to leg muscles during everyday activity increases significantly. One study published in the American Journal of Physiology found that older adults who drank beetroot juice daily for 2 weeks showed a 22% reduction in the oxygen cost of walking. Their leg muscles were doing the same amount of work using significantly less oxygen. In practical terms, less fatigue, less heaviness in the legs, the ability to walk further before needing to stop. Why does beetroot juice outperform everything else on this list? It works through several mechanisms simultaneously. The nitrate concentration is extraordinarily high, among the highest of any food consumed regularly. The conversion to nitric oxide is efficient and fast, but beyond the nitrates, beets also contain a compound called betaine, which independently reduces a harmful inflammatory molecule called homocysteine that damages blood vessel walls and accelerates arterial stiffening. And the deep red pigments in beets, called betalains, are powerful antioxidants that reduce oxidative stress in blood vessels, protecting the nitric oxide you are producing from breaking down too quickly. So, in a single glass, you are increasing nitric oxide production, protecting it from premature breakdown, reducing vascular inflammation, and reducing arterial stiffness. That is why the results are as strong and as fast as the research consistently shows. Practical details. Where to find it? Pure beetroot juice is available at most grocery stores, health food stores, and online. Look for 100% beet juice with no added sugar. Many brands also offer concentrated beetroot shots, small bottles of 70 to 100 milliliters that deliver the same nitrate dose as a full glass in a much smaller volume. These are convenient, effective, and easy to keep in the fridge. How much? 250 milliliters of standard beetroot juice or one concentrated shot once per day. Morning is ideal. The circulation benefit peaks around 2 hours after drinking, right when you are most active during the day. Taste: earthy, slightly sweet, and distinctive. If it is too strong on its own, mix it with a small amount of apple juice or add fresh ginger and a squeeze of lemon. Both combinations are genuinely pleasant and make the habit much easier to maintain. Two important safety notes. Beets are high in compounds called oxalates, the same natural compounds found in spinach and almonds. For the vast majority of people, this is completely harmless. However, if you have a personal history of kidney stones, specifically calcium oxalate stones, speak with your doctor before making beetroot juice a daily habit. This applies to a minority of people, but it is worth knowing before you start. Beeturia, a pinkish or reddish coloring in urine or stools after consuming beets, affects roughly 10 to 15% of people. It is completely harmless. It is beet pigment, not blood, and it resolves within 24 hours. Do not be alarmed if you see it. If you are on blood pressure medication or blood thinners, have a conversation with your doctor before making beetroot juice a daily routine. The blood pressure lowering effect is real, usually beneficial, but in combination with medication, it may need monitoring. These drinks support circulation. They are not a replacement for prescribed medical treatment. Here's the 30-day challenge I want to give you. Every morning, drink 1 glass of pure beetroot juice, 250 milliliters, or a concentrated shot. Do it consistently. Pay attention to how your feet feel throughout the day. Notice whether stairs feel slightly less effortful after a couple of weeks. Watch for changes in nighttime cramping. Notice whether walking feels different after 3 to 4 weeks of regular use. And remember the mouthwash point. If you currently use antibacterial mouthwash in the morning, switch to using it at night instead. The bacteria in your mouth are essential for converting nitrates to nitrite, the first step in producing nitric oxide. Killing them right before your beetroot juice eliminates a meaningful portion of the benefit. A free adjustment that takes 5 seconds and makes a real difference. The benefits of beetroot juice compound with consistency. The nitrate pathway becomes more efficient with regular use. Structural improvements to arterial flexibility build gradually. Many people feel a difference within the first week. Most notice clear, consistent improvement within 3 to 4 weeks. Here's what I want you to take away from everything covered today. Your circulation is not a fixed thing. It is dynamic. It responds to what you give your body. The decline most people experience after 60 is driven by specific, addressable nutritional deficiencies, not simply by time passing. Nitric oxide does not disappear because you got older. It declines because the body stops receiving enough of the raw materials needed to keep producing it. And when those materials come back consistently through the right foods and drinks, the body responds. Your blood vessels were built to be flexible, open, and responsive. Give them what they need to stay that way. Start with 1 glass of beetroot juice tomorrow morning. Be consistent. Give it 30 days. And pay attention to what changes. If this video was helpful, hit the like button so more people dealing with the same issues can find it. And subscribe so you do not miss what is coming next. In the next video, I am going to show you 3 common nighttime habits that are quietly damaging your leg circulation while you sleep. And almost everyone over 60 does at least one of them without realizing it. If staying mobile, independent, and physically capable longer matters to you, that is something you will want to know. I will see you there. You